What's up, and welcome to my final summary review of the MSI GE78HX13V. This is the RTX 4080 version with the i9-13980HX. And it has 64 gigs of RAM, a 2TB SSD, and cost me $34.99. This laptop currently, with the same CPU and GPU, can be had for $25.99, which is a much better price and makes this laptop far more appealing from a price to performance perspective, especially since it comes with only 32 gigs of RAM. And since this only comes with 32 gigs of RAM, that's also going to improve our gaming performance. 32 gigs of RAM being able to run at 5,600 mega transfers, which should slightly improve our 1% low performance. 64 gigs can only run at 5,200 mega transfers, which is just not quite as fast. So yeah. Now, comparing this laptop versus the competition, if you get that better price config at $25.99, this thing is very competitive, especially considering it comes with a 100% DCI P3 color gamut display. And we tested it today at 98% P3 color gamut, which is excellent. The port selection on this, I think, is very good with 3 USB-Cs, 1 Thunderbolt, one of those being Thunderbolt 4, 2 USB-As, a full-size SD card slot, HDMI 2.0 support. One gripe about the feature selection of this laptop is that it lacks G-Sync, which can affect you if you're trying to play games like Starfield, where you're getting maybe sometimes in some scenarios sub 60 FPS. And in that scenario, maybe you're going to see a little more screen tearing than you normally would. Now, you flip on frame gen, you flip on some other settings. Typically, this laptop's almost always going to be doing over 100 frames per second on ultra settings in almost every game out there. Starfield being one of the rare exceptions, at least out of the box. Once you get this thing with frame gen mod installed on Starfield, you're going to get over 100 FPS. So I kind of gave you a preview of the performance we're getting, but we got over 100 FPS in every single game we played today, and we did all of the games on ultra settings. So yeah, and the esports games, of course, got well over 100, and like Apex Legends did 250 FPS, Warzone 2 did 140s, I believe, but it was a different map than normal. Counter-Strike 2 did 300 to 400, God of War 102, I think. Cyberpunk 2077 did 100. Hogwarts did 108 or 5 or 105, I think. Dead Space. The main issue with the game performance was 1% lows suffered a little bit. We had like 25 to 30 in certain titles. Dead Space, I think, was 25 for 1% lows. That's not amazing. Hogwarts was like 35, 40 or something like that. Cyberpunk 2077 was 43. A lot of these could be improved if you just get the Kingston Fury RAM that I did a review of just recently. I highly recommend checking out that review of the Kingston Fury and watching the summary of what we found out, because 1% low performance with 32 gigs of RAM with faster timings, and that's definitely going to help. Going up to DDR4 6400 if your RAM can overclock. Definitely something I would recommend if you can get the RAM and it's in a compatible system. Okay, so gaming performance is perfect right now. Like, basically, it's going to be able to play every game at over 100 FPS across the board on ultra settings at QHD resolution. No issues, except for VRAM in certain titles like Hogwarts, because only 12 gigs of VRAM needs a little bit more than that for QHD in certain, like in a game like Hogwarts. But yeah, I don't think the stuttering will be bad with a game like this or the laptop like this, but you can at least run high, medium, or high textures in basically everything. Eventually, 12 gigs of VRAM won't be enough, though. That'll probably be a pretty long way down the road before you'll have to be turning it down to low settings. So I think this laptop, if you get it equipped with a 4080 or 4090, is going to be a great long-term buy. You've got a great quality display. The main issue with the display, the contrast is not that great. It was like 730 to 1, and the brightness was only 375. But the color gamut was excellent. It's extremely colorful display, and the response rate and the resolution is great. 17-inch, 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Really, it, to me, gives a great impression for gaming and overall enjoyability, but it's not as bright and vibrant as the mini LED displays, not as contrasty as the mini LED displays, or honestly, it's not as contrasty as many of the regular displays out there. So now, flex test and quality control. This thing is very rigid. It feels very sturdy to the hands. I like typing on the keyboard, and the keyboard has a lot of functionality with a number pad, FN lock key for the top F keys. I like that. The trackpad feels really good. It's smooth. It's a glass trackpad, and it has a good click to it. I think the trackpads could still theoretically improve some more on all Windows gaming laptops, but this is going to be equal to the best gaming laptop trackpads. Pretty much, with Razer being one of the few laptop trackpads that may be slightly better. I did the ports already. The BIOS in this laptop allows you to undervolt and has lots of customization, including your power limits adjustments. I believe you can do RAM overclocking, though I'm not sure how to do that in the BIOS. I've never looked it up or anything, and I didn't want to do that live on the show today, but I'm pretty sure you can do RAM overclocking with this laptop, but I'm not sure 100%. So someone needs to look into that, and then maybe I'll update a pinned comment about RAM overclocking if I can figure it out. The speakers on this are really good. Like, the speakers have good punchy bass. I'd say they're a little better than the GT77. They're on par, maybe a little bit better than the Scar series, and just a little bit worse than the Blade series. The Blade series just having better fidelity in the mids, highs, and lows. So, and better spatial separation, I think, than this, the Blade 18 especially. I would say this is pretty close to the Blade 16, but the Blade 18 is just like on another level. Fan noise got 57 decibels on max fans. That's very loud fans, very loud max fans. Balanced mode, we saw a power drop on the CPU and GPU, but the fan noise dropped down to like 46 decibels, which is very quiet for how much power we were seeing go through the system, but temperatures also rose a little bit. So balanced mode is probably the way most people would play this if they want reduced fan noise and still good performance. Silent mode still gave us enough performance for older titles or playing games at lower frame rates, newer titles on lower frame rates, but ultimately extreme performance with max fans, that's going to give you the best all-around performance, and it's going to be a noticeable jump up from balanced. So I would recommend extreme performance if you can play with headphones. If you can't, balanced mode is still going to give you great all-around performance with relatively quiet fan noise. So that's really good. Now, Cinebench R23, we scored 32,000 out the gate, which is awesome. We saw 176 watts going through the CPU. That's awesome. And the thing is, once you undervolt this, you can really unleash the beast, and you can score, I think I scored as high as 35,000 something with this i9 CPU in this MSI GE78. I'm selling this one, by the way, because it has a really good i9 in this laptop. That said, I don't know if that was 100% stable, and it certainly wasn't going to consistently hit that performance threshold without something like a laptop cooling pad. But yeah, so with this laptop, you tune it, you can optimize it, you undervolt the GPU, you undervolt the CPU, you put a laptop cooling pad. This thing is just a performance monster, equaling the best and biggest laptops out there, while at the same time being a bit more affordable. I want to get the lights on for this. Yeah, there we go. The lights are on now. And of course, the RGB implementation and design of this laptop, I think, is top notch. My main criticism on the design is the red line. I don't think the red line looks very good. There's a red line here, and there's also a red line on the back right here. I think it looks okay if you're into black and red, but like there's a gold line here. Like, why didn't they just do gold all around or red all around? That would be an improvement. Why are we doing two different colors for our trim? And number two, I don't know. I feel like a shiny metal, like a silver here, like a chrome trim, that would just look better, look more classy. Or maybe RGB. Like, why can't this be an RGB strip going across here? That would make it way classier. So I don't know. Like that at this price point, I would have appreciated a rear RGB strip and chrome instead. That would be my design choice if I could choose it. Overall, this laptop is really fully featured. You got the Windows Hello and the webcam being just average quality, but Windows Hello is really nice. A privacy shutter at the top, also a really nice touch from MSI. And yeah, so at $25.99, I think the MSI Raider GE78 HX is a great buy. Like very good. I don't know if it's necessarily like, it's not the best value per dollar, but if I was choosing between this one and the Legion Pro 7i, if they were the same price, I'd buy this one because it has a higher color gamut display and a better speaker system. And I value those two things a lot. But I would say the Legion Pro 7i has a better keyboard and it undercuts the price of the GE78. So when you actually compare realistic pricing, the Legion Pro 7i might cost a few $100s less. And at that point, I think it's kind of a toss-up depending on whether you value the color gamut on the display or not. And if you do, the Raider would probably be the better choice. If you don't, you're fine with 100% sRGB. Then I think the Legion Pro 7i or maybe the Omen 17 is the better value buy versus this one. In terms of premium, you can definitely step up to a more premium laptop display like the Scar 16, the Blade 16, the Blade 18, the Scar 18. All of those are higher color gamut, well, equally high color gamut, but higher brightness and better contrast on the display. So if you're after something like you're a professional video editor and you want something super bright and vibrant, that's where a mini LED is more attractive, I think, than this. But I think this is suitable for professional work to at least get a really fully featured, fully color gamut display that is going to be really effective at conveying the end game goal color spectrum of your content. And there's even the True Color, MSI True Color app, which lets you change the color gamut of the display. And I think this is very effective to switch around and make the display just look better or a little more poppy or whatever kind of color spectrum you're looking for your workspace. So I like that. I think the keyboard's very comfortable to type on. It's a very comfortable laptop to game on because thermally this stays really cool. The wrist rests stay very cool. Of course, the rear fans put out a lot of heat because there's a lot of power going through this system. And overall, can I recommend the GE78? At the $25.99 price point, absolutely. I think it's a very good system for the money, but I do think we're going to see it go on sale too. So I think we have probably like around when it goes on sale, I'm thinking 2,400, maybe 2,300 makes this thing a really great buy. At least currently as of the end of September 2023, as we go later on in the year and next year, I think we're going to see all the way down to probably $2,000 pricing eventually on the baseline unit. But right now, I think this laptop's worth buying at the $25.99 price point if it meets all of your needs just the way you're looking for a laptop to meet them. The number one drawbacks with this machine, no G-Sync. The slower 64 gig RAM, just impacting performance, and I think 1% lows a little bit. Let's see here, the little bit lower quality webcam. And of course, you know, it's not a super portable machine, but it's fairly portable. So largeness of the machine being a 17-inch display, 16 by 10 though. So that's a nice advantage in terms of portability. I like the hinge. I like the build quality. A lot of metal on this laptop. It feels like you're buying a premium laptop and you're spending premium laptop money. But if you're getting the $2599 price point with the i9-13980H and a 4080, I think you're just getting a ton of value. And that's where I think this GE model really shines. The 4090 version being like $3799, that's too much for what we're offering in this laptop. I think that one needs to be priced more like $3,400 to get the i9 with the 4090 at the most. I think right now it's like $400 too much. So so those are my thoughts right now, and honestly maybe even down to $3,200 eventually for the 4090 version, for it to be competitive with other laptops on the market in the space. Thank you so much. I try to recap everything that we've discovered about the laptop during the review. I hope this is helpful to everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like the live stream, this review if you can, and subscribe for more awesome content. I will see you in the next one.